Hello, this is Cat's Diamond Painting. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've joined me here before. Sorry I didn't post last week. I was on a weather-induced hiatus. It was really hot here in the UK and I think across pretty much most of Europe. And yeah, I was suffering, not gonna lie. It was over 30 degrees in the house, in the room where I film, which is, I think, maybe around 90 degrees Fahrenheit. I know a lot of my followers are in countries where you use Fahrenheit, which is, you know, it's pretty hot when you can't escape it, when that's the coolest room in the house. So yeah, I was not up to filming, is the end of that story. So I'm back this week and I'll try and get a couple of videos up, but I definitely had to hop on today because it is the 30th of June and I am here to do my June month in review and then share my diamond painting plans for July with you. So, like last month, because if you haven't been around here for very long, like this is only the third month that I've done this video, so I'm still kind of feeling my way through the best format. But yeah, what I'm going to do is I am going to work through my actual plan that I wrote out last month and tick off what I did and didn't get done. And then I'm going to cover off any other whips and things going on that I've done. And then I will plan out July with you. And I'm just noticing, look at this, my beautiful, beautiful legendary notebook that I use for my plans. It's been cat-atted, as we say around here. I suspect Charlie, because he sleeps near where I keep this, the little so-and-so has put puncture marks in my beautiful, beautiful notebook. So I'm going to have to find somewhere else to keep it and spare it from any further damage. But anyway, moving on. So where have I put my pencil? Oh, it's down there. Never mind. See, I'm all out of whack because I haven't filmed in a while. Anyways, I have 3 finishes to show you for this month. Sounds impressive. They were, you know, they were all well underway before the start of the month. I'm not normally that productive. I would say that this month has been reasonably productive compared to how I was this time, say, a year ago when I was done painting a fair bit less, but probably not as productive as the last couple of months. But you'll see as we get into it. So, my month in review. So I started June with 7 whips, 7 works in progress, and I did get to quite a few of them this month. My priority goal for the month was to finish my comparison project, and I allowed about half the month for that, but it actually ended up going a lot quicker. I worked on the hybrid version, the original render version from the 4th to the 9th of June, and the pixel charted version from the 10th to the 12th. And actually that included a period when I was away over the weekend, so they did go quite a lot quicker than expected. And if you saw my final post review of them a couple of weeks ago, you will know that I did succeed in my goal there. So let me tick that off. I did finish them and I'm not going to dwell on them in this video because I do have that full post review as well as a whole series of comparing them. But I'll of course just show you quickly because this wouldn't be a very good month in review if I didn't show you everything I'd worked on. So here is the original hybrid render version. Let me pull you out a bit. Ooh, you went zooming out. So these, by the way, just in case you're not aware, this is 2 render versions of the piece of art, The Apprentice by the artist Cat Fedora, both from Jaded Gem Shop, both square drills, both 60 by 60 centimeters, but 2 very different render styles. This is the original render style, the style that she launched her shop with. And then this one here is the pixel charted, ooh, it's upside down, or hand rendered version. So you can see there's quite a big difference between these 2 kits. I had quite a few thoughts on these as I went through the process of working on them, which took me a little over a year because I did tend to have quite long gaps between periods of working on it. I think where I landed is that I think the ideal render of this artwork lies somewhere between these 2 kits. I thought that I would, you know, love this version and really not be so keen on this in comparison. And it wasn't quite as black and white as that in the end. I think that the render version, the render version. The hybrid version stayed a lot truer to the artwork in the use of colours and that sort of soft dreamy style. The pixel charted version is really bright and fun and pretty, but it isn't quite as true to the artwork because it is a lot more kind of stark and bright, and there are some colour changes, that kind of thing. But one thing I did note in my post reviews is that this is a kit that I'm pretty sure came out fairly early on in Jaded Gem Shop's kind of hand rendering journey. So I want to kind of, you know, give grace and allow for the fact that possibly if they were doing this today, they might make different choices. I don't know. Either way, very happy they're both done. And yeah, it was fun to work on them, but also quite a slog. I was pretty keen to get them done this month, so I'm very happy they are. Okay, so that was finish 1 and 2 for the month. And just to briefly cover off some stats on them. So the hybrid render version, the one at the bottom here, was my 10th finish in 2026 and my 3rd finish for the period from April to April. And it was my 80th finish overall. I don't have a start number because I wasn't keeping this logbook when I did these. And then the hand-charted version was my 81st finish, funnily enough, which made it also my 11th finish in 2026 and my 4th finish for the April to April period that we are currently in. So yeah, really getting through more kits this year than I ever have before, which I'm excited about because I've got so many kits I want to work on, and yeah, just gives me hope I might get to them a bit sooner. So those were finishes 1 and 2. And then the next goal on my list was to spend approximately 1 week on Life of Tigers. I did that. I actually spent a bit longer on it because I worked on this from the 12th to the 21st of June, which included some days when I wasn't doing much diamond painting. But anyway, this is my 3rd finish. So here it is. And I do plan to do a full post review on this one because this was a refresh your stash kit, meaning that this is one of my oldest kits in my collection. So Lizette Crafts and Tells, that's a brilliant diamond painting channel, set up this challenge for this year, which was to refresh your stash by working on all your oldest kits. And I've really taken it to heart, and I'm continually having my oldest kit on the go. So once I finish one, I then kit up the next. This was the 4th one I've got to this year. It is Life of Tigers by Marisha Becker, and it's 55.8 by 70.7 centimeters. It looks really cool in the viewfinder, I've got to say. It's hard for me to actually view a painting like this in real life without doing something like having my husband hold it up on the other side of the room, because the viewfinder really gives, you know, that perfect viewing distance. But yeah, it looks pretty fabulous. So I'm not going to go too in depth on this one so that I can still put up that post review and have some value. It is gorgeous. It was one of those ones where just expectations didn't meet reality. I thought I was going to have more fun with it than I did. It was one where it's not that I hated working on it or anything, but I didn't love it. I got a little bored. It felt a little bit like a slog, which I think was part of the reason why after I'd spent a week on it and I knew I didn't have that long to go, I thought, well, actually, I could just get this one done and out of the way and move on to my next Refresh Your Stash kit. It's got loads of ABs. It's got all the bright colours. It's got an abstract theme to it. So yeah, there's no rhyme or reason sometimes, is there? Like, there is no reason on paper why this wouldn't be a kit that I really loved working on based on my interests and the things I typically enjoy. But yeah, just didn't quite click for me. Quality wise, it was all good. This is probably the last kit I'll work on that has purely the 13 facet drills of Diamond Art Club from their first drill evolution, going back to 2021 when they started to phase in the drills that all had 13 facets. Lost train of my thought there, which is kind of sad for me because I did really like those drills. So this one was my 82nd finish, my 12th for 2026, my 5th for April to April. Bought in October 2022, so I had this for quite a long time. And yeah, I can't decide. This is one thing that did come out to me when I was working on it. I can't decide how I feel about the merged tiger faces, and that's, you know, that's about the original artwork. This is a good render of the artwork. I mean, they're not merged, are they? It's that one's behind the other and the other's in profile, but the kind of the effect in the diamond painting is that they kind of merge into one a little bit. But yeah, I don't really know what to say about it. It's it's so pretty. I just can't understand why it didn't click for me. I believe this one is discontinued, so if you are liking what you see and you're not put off by my highly subjective, no real reason for it, just didn't totally love this kit thoughts, then you could probably pick it up on a D-stash, I would think. But yeah, it's very pretty. Why did I not enjoy it more? Anyways, so I got this one finished. If you've been following my goals for the year, you will know that means that I had to start my next Refresh Your Stash kit this month. So I'll get to that in a little bit. But I didn't actually think that I would finish this month, so it wasn't on my goals list. So let me put this to one side and see what my next goal was. Okay, next up was one row of Window to the Sea. This is my other big goal for this year, is to always have a round kit on the go, just because I have this slight aversion to working on round kits. No, aversion is too strong a word. It's just that I really prefer square kits, and therefore I always gravitate towards working on them, but I have some gorgeous round drill kits in my stash, and I figured, hey, if I work on them a bit more, maybe I'll get over that kind of difference in feeling towards them. And it's mostly working. So I did get this done. Let me tick that off before I get it out to show you. And I worked on this one, well, it says in my notes here, I was scuppered by the heat, because I worked on this from the 21st to the 27th of June for one measly row, but really that just reflects the fact there were several days when it was far too hot to diamond paint in this house. So let me get that out now. Okay, here it is. And similarly to Life of Tigers, I'm not loving this one quite like I thought I would. It keeps getting very crumpled. Let me just, the problem is I can't pull it back far enough to fully flatten it. That's better. Okay, flatten so you can see it, only for me to roll it back up and put it in the box again in a minute. But hey, so I've got like 3 more rows to go on this. It is a 55.6 by 55.6 centimeter squared kit. Each row is about 10 centimeters, so it's probably going to be, well, it's going to be like 3.5 rows. I'll do like one big row at the end. And yeah, it's just not grabbing me. I don't know what it is. I think when I bought this kit, which was in Diamond Art Club's anniversary sale last year, 2025, I had a slight reservation, thinking, I feel like this artwork would do better with square drills and it's gonna lack a little bit of definition. And I think maybe that's part of it. Maybe there's a kind of, I feel like this is gonna be one of those rare cases where the kit maybe doesn't turn out as well as I feel like it could have been done. But I also don't think that's it, you know, and there's nothing wrong with the quality. The drills are great, the glue's great. Again, there's nothing like objective that tells me why I'm not loving this kit. If it hadn't been for the heat, I might have got into it more, because I think I would have got through that first row a lot quicker, and then I maybe would have done another row, and then I probably would have been more immersed in it. I've often said that for me, diamond paintings, it's a little bit like when you pick up a book and sometimes you're into it straight away. Sometimes it can be a brilliant book at the end of it, but it takes you a while to get into it. So it may be one of those things, but by the time I finished that row, there wasn't much time left in the month. And going back to what I said about finishing Life of Tigers under my own rules, which I know I don't have to stick to my own rules, but I feel like if I don't, it will all descend into chaos. Like, the rules are keeping me honest, keeping me on track with my plans. So yeah, I needed to put this aside after the 27th of June or whenever it was. I said that I finished this row so that I could get a new Refresh Your Stash kit going. So that's where we are with this one. And And what was next? My July mini. So I am doing this year the Forever Young mini sets for the month. That doesn't make any sense. They're monthly set. That still doesn't make much sense. Oh dear. They've got a January to December set of minis and I'm doing one each month and putting it on my desk. We got there at the end. So this is July's one. It is a more simple design than a lot of the others have been. And to be honest, I appreciated that because this one did take a lot less time. Some of the others have been very confetti filled and have taken maybe like 3 hours or so. And I'm really enjoying how these turn out. I think that they're all really pretty images, particularly for the size. You've got lovely glimmer drills and all that kind of thing. But the glue isn't great and I can't use my iPad, my light pad. What is with my words today? Because it's on card, so I can't see the light pad through it. And I'm used to working with a light pad, so that feels trickier. So yeah, I appreciated that this was a nice quick one, but I got it done. It is ready to go in the frame on my desk for tomorrow, for July. And then I said, go with my feels for the rest of the month. So let me just check everything. Yeah. So what actually happened was back at the start of the month, I did an unboxing from a new to me shop called Preston Placed. And I really wanted to make a start on that kit so that when I did the unboxing for you and showed it to you, I could give you, you know, a real idea of the experience of that kit. So I actually did that right at the start of the month. I worked on it from 2nd to 4th of June. It's called Night Bookshelf. It's really pretty. Let me get it out. Okay. So it's a decent sized kit. It's like a little bit on the bigger side of medium because it is 59.52 by 74.4 centimeters. Oh, that's a pretty standard medium size. But anyway, I just did this quite small row. It was smaller than I would usually do just because I didn't have much time and I wanted to get the video out. But I did enough to get a real feel for how the drills are fitting and just to start to see what it's going to look like. Of course, with any diamond painting, you can't get a real idea of the finished result just from one row. Otherwise, what would be the point in continuing? And the more you fill in, the more the picture comes together generally. But I can tell you that I had a pretty good experience with the drills. Some of the colours were very trash prone. So that's one of those things that it's hard to judge off one painting from a shop because unless I've worked from several from that shop, how do I know whether I just got unlucky with the trash prone colours or whether, you know, that's standard. There was nothing that gave me concerns, you know, compared to other shops I've worked on. There was nothing out of the ordinary. The drills fit very snugly, which is really the only reason the slightly trashy drills gave me any concern because there wasn't room on the grid for any knobbly bits on drills. But I will always choose a snug grid and dealing with a bit of trash if necessary. Anyway, so the bit that I thought I was going to do kind of at the end of the month after doing my other goals, I actually front loaded at the start of the month. But this is basically the go with my feels bit. So I did achieve all of my goals for the month. And because of Life of Tigers being finished, I had to start my next Refresh Your Stash kit. So let me show you what that is. So going back to December 2022, there was this kit that came out one week that was just I must buy this kit. And then I'm not really sure why I've never got around to working on it, but it was next up in Refresh Your Stash, which is what I'm loving about this challenge. It is making me get out these kits that I've just not forgotten about because they're there in my gems flow, but I just haven't got around to them and I don't always know why. So this is Cat Bookshelf. Now, I only started this on the 28th of June, so I've really not got much done yet at all. I just have this one row done, but that only took me 2 days, which isn't bad. So this is going to be about 9 rows along based on the size. It's 87 by 70 centimeters. So if they all move that quickly, it shouldn't take too long. But yeah, it is quite big and beasty. That's definitely one thing about this year, having all these goals in mind, really trying to let go of worrying about how many whips I have on the go and that kind of thing. I've got several big and beastie kits on the go, which at some point is going to mean that I don't have any finishes for a while while I kind of try and make progress with all of them. But yeah, this one is really fun. I believe it's still available as well, which is good, because one of the downsides of this Refresh Your Stash challenge is that I'm often showing you kits which aren't available for purchase anymore just because they're from so long ago. But yeah, this one I believe is. So this just is a little like nerdy aside about drills, because you know I am a bit of a nerd about Diamond Art Club square drill history. These ones I was surprised to discover quite a few of the colours are the next evolution of Diamond Art Club drills. So we went from mixed 9 and 13 facet drills, like most places still do, to exclusively 13 facet drills, to exclusively 20 facet drills. And they've since moved on again. But this is from the phase where we were transitioning from 13 to 20 facet drills. So it's got a mixture of those. The 20 facet drills were never my favourite. They tend to hurt my delicate, sensitive hands because they're quite pointy. But it's not so bad if there's a mixture. And it does give you an interesting bit of texture and sparkle, actually, having a mixture of them in there. But yeah, this one is really fun, actually. I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with this one. I mean, it's not blocky. There is a fair bit of confetti, but at the same time, it's the kind of, based on my first section, it's not intense confetti. It's not like, you know, landscapes and trees and that kind of thing, which is what I'm often dealing with if I'm on a bigger kit. So I think for a big and beastie kit, it's probably going to go relatively quickly. And yeah, looking forward to getting more of it done, really. So that is everything. I'm just checking my list, but yeah, that is everything that I actually worked on this month. So you can see I got quite a lot done. Life of Tigers is probably the one that I did the most on any one individual painting. The two versions of The Apprentice, I had quite a chunky row to work on for both of those. Just a small row for Preston Placed and one row for Windows to the Sea, and then my little mini kit. So yeah, definitely not as productive as previous months, but I think that's, well, it was a combination of many things. It was having a few busy periods. It was definitely the heat for a few days, and also probably the fact that a couple of these kits just, they weren't grabbing me for whatever undefined reasons that I haven't figured out yet. Now I've moved on to this and I'm really enjoying it. I'm feeling the urge to diamond paint more again. And kind of getting round to it earlier in the day and that kind of thing. So yeah, hopefully July will be more productive. So other than this, I also have three other whips that I haven't shown you that I haven't worked on at all this month. I think what I'm going to do, rather than get them all out, is just put a picture on the screen of where I was last up to with them, because yeah, it's pointless showing you them when I haven't worked on them this month. There's nothing new to see. So first of all, I have my Diamond Art Club custom kit. This is a scene of a place that is very dear to my heart. It is gorgeous. I'm loving it. Very confetti filled though, because Diamond Art Club custom kits are not hand rendered like their usual kits are. They have touch-ups, there are patches where you can see where someone's gone over it, but it's largely computer rendered. So that one's slow going and a very long-term project for me. And then I have Ida's Little Flockers, which is a Richard Lorenz kit that I picked to work on just because I hadn't worked on a Richard Lorenz in a while. And this one I thought would be a good one to get out of the way, for the very stupid reason of the fact it was from that brief period where Diamond Art Club had much bigger boxes, and I wanted the box to be out of my cupboard where it was taking up too much room. But yeah, I love all my Richard Lorenz kits, so sometimes it's those silly little things that help me decide which one to work on. And then I have my Paint Gems space set. I won't bother to put any pictures of that on because there's just little ones, but yeah, it's a Paint Gems mini set, and yeah, they're kind of, I'm not getting around to them as much as I thought I would. I suppose they're fun, but I'm not loving them, but I'd like to get them done in the next couple of months. I have an idea of when. Okay, so that is June. What I'm going to do now is I am going to write out my whips for the start of July, and then I'm going to come back to you with my plans for this next month. Okay, I've listed out my whips. I'm at 7. It's quite a lot. I've explained before there is another challenge going around the diamond painting community, which is 26 for 26. And it's just kind of about getting as many whips on the go as you can, working on lots of kits. I think the initial stated goal is like to start 26 kits within 26. Anyways, I'm not doing that challenge, but I guess it's still got in my head a little bit, and it's just making me more open to having more whips on the go. Previously, I might have panicked a little bit at having this many. That said, my priority goal for this month involves starting a new one. So let me show you first of all. I have this kit from the shop Lettuce Stitch, and ooh, it's so big. I got this a few months back. They sent it to me. There's so many bits and bobs in there. Kind of regretting getting it out, but hey, we're committed now. They sent this kit to me and I absolutely love it. The other thing is, they also sent me another kit last month, well, this month even, which I'm very, very grateful for. But then I kind of felt like I have no concerns about the quality from what I've seen. So this is not me saying, you know, I have any expectation other than the fact I think I'm going to really enjoy this kit. But I just started to feel uncomfortable about the fact that I have recommended the shop and I have worked on a kit from them before, but it is one of their initial ones that they put out when they first started doing diamond paintings. So I haven't worked on one of the ones they've done since they've kind of invested in it more and started with these big, beautiful hand-rendered kits. So this is After the Rain. I did, when I unboxed it, do this teeny tiny little corner just to check what the drills seem to fit like, and that little section, they fit very snugly. Obviously I've only actually tried that one tiny section of one color. So priority goal for July is to get this one started. I'm thinking this is going to be a fairly long-term whip because it is huge. It is 100 by 70 centimeters, which will actually make it probably the biggest kit that I've ever worked on. I've worked on some 98 by 70 centimeters, but never actually hit the 100 mark. It's got 101 colors too, so kitting up is going to be a bit of a mission. But yeah, I want to get this underway, and then I can have even more confidence than I already do when I am, you know, recommending Lettuce Stitch and having, you know, my affiliate code in the description box that I am giving you a good recommendation. Like I say, I have no expectation whatsoever that I'm not going to enjoy this kit based on everything I've seen. I want to check. I want to check. So my priority goal for this month is going to be to kit up and start this. The kicker is that I have quite a few things I want to get done this month, so I'm not sure how much time I have for it. So bearing in mind it's going to take me a day's worth of diamond painting time just to kit it up. I think how I'm going to write it is to work on either, I'd like to spend a week on it. I don't know if that's realistic. I'm going to leave it till later in the month so I can see how things are going by that point. But it's going to be either a week or a row on it depending on what time I have. So start After the Rain. 1 week, 1 row, depending on free time. Okay. Now on to my other goals. Let me clear this one out of the way. So let me bring you back in. My other goals are going to be to do a row of my custom kit again. I didn't do it in June because I already had The Apprentice as a very high confetti filled project. So I didn't think I could do that as well, but I want to keep making progress on this, so I need to do another row of custom kit. And I'm thinking that's approximately 3 to 5 days. Kind of depends on when I work on it, you know, like if it's a weekend or weekdays. We shall see. Then I have my August mini. I'll probably be doing that towards the end of the month, but yeah, within July, I want to get that one done. Let's see what next month's one looks like. So yeah, this is August. Ooh, that's a pretty one. I like that. That's like we're abroad or something. I think that one's going to be fun. And again, much like July, it's not super intense. I don't think this one will take too long, so that's good. I need to start looking and see if I can find another nice set anywhere for next year, because I quite like having these monthly minis. I mean, I'm not dead set on it because I can obviously reuse the ones I've already done. But if you know of any shops doing monthly image mini kits, why do I keep having so much trouble explaining this concept? But you know what I mean. If you know of any other shops doing good ones, let me know in the comments. Okay, the next one is that I haven't worked on Ida's Little Flockers since May, so I would like to do a week on that. So that is the Richard Lorenz kit. I'll pop a picture up on the screen again now so you can see. So, I mean, I did 3 rows in May and that took me probably about a week. I think these middle sections are a bit more involved, but I'd like to think I could get another 2 to 3 rows done. We shall see. And then approximately 1 week on Cat Bookshelf as well, my Refresh Your Stash kit. With the Refresh Your Stash and the round kit like goals, I want to make sure I make progress every month. I think towards the end of the year it's going to be harder to do when I start to work on more seasonal projects. So at least at this point in the year I want to make sure I'm making good progress on them if I can't finish them. Like I can't finish Cat Bookshelf this month and get my other things done, but I can make some good progress on it hopefully. And then Window to the Sea. I obviously want to work on it again. I mean, I'd quite like to get it finished because I started this one in May and it's not a big kit, so it is annoying me that it's still ongoing. And I would like to get to a different round kit that maybe would grab me more, but I don't know. I think I'm gonna put a week, but this is one where if I'm really close to finishing after that week, I might push on. So get as close to finishing as possible. I'm also conscious I'm away for a weekend in July. I have parents visiting for a couple of days. I'll be watching some football because the World Cup's still on. It's going to be hot again, so there's all kind of things that might derail. Like the first 2 months I have managed to tick off every goal. It's unrealistic to think that's going to be the case every month, and I do wonder how much of this I'm going to get done. But the previous months I've got more done than I thought I would, even in the case of not doing as much diamond painting as I expected in June. So let's be optimistic, hopefully. I'm just adding these up though. I've got 1 week, 1 week, 1 week, 1 week / 1 row, and then some extra things. So if I go by the weeks, I literally don't have enough time to do everything I planned. But in reality, that's not how it goes. You know, if I've got to the end of a row and it's been 5 or 6 days working on a kit, and a row typically takes me longer than, you know, a day or two, then I'm probably not going to start that next row, and maybe I'll switch to the next thing quicker. And as ever, this is something where I'm really enjoying planning out my months like this and knowing what I'm going to be working on, but this is a hobby. I do it for fun. It's not a job. So, you know, it doesn't actually matter if I switch things around. The only thing that is making me really, really conscious and like just thinking about all this a lot is thinking ahead to the autumn when I'm going to want to work on seasonal projects. So I really don't want to be starting any more whips if I can avoid it, because come sort of mid-September, I want to work on Halloween kits, and then it'll be Christmas kits. So I do want to be ticking some of these off by the end of August, ideally. But that's next month's planning issue. We'll see how much I can get through this month, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, the thing with having all these whips is I'm fine with that, but I don't want there to be loads of them where they just sit there for months at a time not being worked on, because then, I don't know, I just don't like that. So that is my plan for July. It's looking pretty full. Let's see how much I can get done. And yeah, I should have a full post review of Life of Tigers up for you soon. That is going to be a start to finish review, because I did film a little unboxing for that one. Unfortunately, I forgot to plan for that with Cat Bookshelf, and then it got to like the day I needed to start it and I couldn't film that day, so I kitted up. But in general, I'm trying to do start to finish reviews for my Refresh Your Stash kits. And yeah, we'll see what else the month brings. I mean, the main thing is I'm really enjoying diamond painting. So yeah, we'll see what I can do with that passion for diamond painting this month. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, please consider dropping a like on it. And your comments are always welcome as well. Let me know your thoughts on, I don't know, how you would tackle any of this. Yeah, I'm making it quite a mission for myself, but then I'm finding that very fulfilling. So, you know, who cares? If you're not already subscribed, I'd love to have you stick around, so please consider doing that too. And I will hopefully see you again soon. Bye bye.